Universal Construction Coffee Talk fans, thanks for chiming in. Hope everybody had a great holiday 4th of July weekend. Lots of hamburgers and hot dogs. I know I was watching the highlights on SportsCenter last night, and I saw the chugging contest and both the women's and the men's hot dog eating contest. The guy had a world record, 76 hot dogs. Oh my God, 22,000 calories. And I mean, the guy's unbelievable. He wins it every year, you know. And I forget how many the girl, how many hot dogs, you know. But I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, but 76 hot dogs. I mean, 22,000 calories in about 15 minutes, whatever the time was. Guy's amazing. Anyway, just crazy, crazy stuff. You eat 76 hot dogs, I'm giving you the belt. That's all I got to say. So here in the ATL, our Hawks took it on the chin on Saturday night, got knocked out of the NBA Finals in the Eastern Conference. So what a great season. No one had them to get there. Made it, knocked off the Knicks, you know, good teams. And, you know, Milwaukee, good luck against the Suns. And myself, I think the Suns are going to take it off. They got a great team and, you know, such is. But, you know, we knocked off the Knicks. We knocked off Philly, Milwaukee. Oh, well. And our star player got hurt. So I think that, you know, without him hurt, maybe it would have been a different thing. But you know what? That's the way the ball bounces. You know, you got to have people to step up and they just, you know, but what a great season. Future looks bright. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, move on. Those guys deserve some time off. So congratulations to the Hawks. We're behind you here in the ATL. I'm a Yankee, you know, so look, it was tough last one because they were playing Philly. I'm from there, so I had to pull for both teams. So, but anyway, looking at it, yeah, I'll pull for the Bucks. They beat us. They're in our division. Go for it. I just want to see a good, great games, have them be close, and may the best team win. So with that said, got a really, really cool gig. I have a gentleman who's coming just outside of Tel Aviv, Israel. His name is Yaron Dycian, and he's in water leak detection. His company's called Wint. Yaron, tell him what your company's called. I always get it wrong. Say hello to our listeners first from Israel.
Hey everyone, and hey David, and thanks for having me on the show.
Really and tell them what your company name is.
And the company is called Wint Water Intelligence.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
You knew that.
Yeah. So, but you know what the cool thing is that, you know, water is used in everything. Okay. 96% of your body's made up of it. You drink it, you cook with it, you shower with it, you build construction with it, you grow plants with it. You can't do anything without water. And water right now, I mean, down here, I live just south of the lake. The lake's full to the brim. Normally in the summer it goes down, but because they let the water out. But Lake Lanier is like an ocean up there. But you go out west, all the dams are down at, you know, at record levels, and you know, and China is underneath water. You know, with the Three Gorges dams and all the dams and all the water, they don't know what to do with the water. So water is an essential commodity, and what Yaron's company basically does is they have a water detection system that can tell you if you have leaks. And listen, you have a leak, just like at your home. If you have a busted water pipe inside or out your house, it can create major damage. It costs a lot of money. And if you don't catch it in time, the meter keeps running. And the utility, the local guys, they don't care. They want their money. It's the reality of it. And in construction, everybody's got to use it. So with all our guests, Yaron, you got to tell your story. You got to tell us, and listen, you can't leave skeletons. We can, and this is, you know, 2021. We can find anything we want about anybody. So we want to know where you lived, where you grew up, got any sisters, you played any sports, how you got into what you're doing today, and you know, and then we'll get into your business and we'll have some fun. So with that said, the floor is yours.
Thanks, David. Thanks again for having me on the show, and thanks everybody for joining us today.
Absolutely.
So, all right, I'll start with the background. I was born in Israel. When I was in 3rd grade, my family actually relocated to New York, where we stayed in New York, in the city, for a year, and then moved on to Long Beach, California, where we stayed another year. And then we came back to Israel. And the rest of my life I spent in Israel, although I've been flying around quite a lot. And between 2000 and actually 1999 to 2005, I used to live in Silicon Valley for a few years. So 6, 7 years in the Valley. So that's my background. One sister, since you asked. And that's about it. I ride a bike quite a lot, road bike, and I deal with water. And really, this is so, the thing about
Were you
water is
always in
this.
water? Were you in water before, or were you in technology,
No,
or?
I've been doing technology for over 30 years. I've done e-commerce, I've done networking, um, uh, solutions for agriculture, high tech, very sophisticated spectrometers for agriculture, Wi-Fi, all sorts of tech stuff, anti-cyber attacks. So I defended banks against cyber attacks when it was not such a big, well-known thing as it
Hmm.
is today. So, I've done quite a lot of stuff in technology. And a few years ago, I ran across this problem of water in facilities. And it touches on two things. The first is exactly what you said. Parts of the world are drying up, right? Lake Mead is like below, every day it breaks low records. It's terrible.
Oh,
And, places you wouldn't believe are water stressed now. London, of all places, the place we all think of as always wet, is actually becoming water stressed. It's a combination of climate changes, human inefficiencies, and just more people drinking and requiring more water. And the
hmm.
result is places all over the world are drying up. So that's part of it. The other part, and for those of us in construction, we know how bad it gets if you've got, 5 days before delivery of a big project, especially if it's really nice with nice finishings. Now you've got a water leak on the 20th floor on a weekend. Oh my God, that's tens of millions of dollars, literally, months of repairs, reputation. Everybody's all over the place. Everybody's hair's on fire. It's really bad. And, there's a very good reason why insurance companies now call water the new fire, because it causes more damages in financial terms than fire does. Fire has kind of been resolved, right? We've got sprinklers, we've got systems, we've got detection. There's not much for water. And water is more of a silent killer. You go into a facility, you will never know that, the building next door is now being demolished by water. You'll know when it happens with fire, right? Everything's on,
Yeah, you got
alarms
smoke.
going.
Yeah, mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Water, it's quiet. It just sits there and it eats up the facility. And by the way, the horrible incident in Miami. I think they're still researching it now, and the conclusions are not out yet. But I've already seen initial research talking about deterioration of the concrete due to leaks from the pool for many years. Maybe that the ceiling of the pool was inadequate, resulted in leaks that damaged the building's foundation. So that's one of the theories. And whether it's true or not, these things happen. And so water has a phenomenal ability to cause damage. And I ran across this problem, and somebody offered me to join and try to solve both of these problems: the sustainability issue and the damage issue.
Yeah. The my grandmother had her apartment right around the corner from where that building went down. Um, and when I saw the building go down, listen, the jury's still out. What happened? I mean, it's going to take them a
Yep.
while. There's all sorts of theories of what happened, but the I think it was a combination. It could, my own opinion. I think it was a combination of everything. Maybe some concrete issues. I mean, that building had gone through a lot of hurricanes, lot of
Yeah,
storms,
yeah.
been there forever. And it's a shame that, and there's still, I think, 100 and some odd people, 156 people are still missing. And just
Terrible.
a very, very sad story, but right around the corner from where my grandmother was. So when I saw it go down, I was like, oh my God, I don't know exactly where that is. And I'm actually having a retreat, this women's event, virtually later this week. And one of my attendees uh, is, we do a little per diem, and she's like, hey, I want to give my charity to the victims of the thing. So it's on the top of my mind, not only because of that, but also I know exactly where it was, and I probably passed that building umpteen times when I would go and visit my grandmother, when, rest in peace, when she was alive and stuff. So but I'm sure water probably had something to do with it. You never know. And um talking about Lake Mead, what a beautiful, beautiful lake. And it looks like you're out on, it looks like you're on a planet when the lake was full. But a couple of years ago, I was out, we rented a houseboat and we were out there and you could see the water line on the rocks. And it was
Mhm.
down at that point, and I was like, wow, and we had the drought here in Lake Lanier, and it was down like 20 feet. And one winter, it rained all winter and it filled the lake right back up. And it was amazing because I thought it was going to take years to do it. But when I see what's happening to Lake Mead and just some of the Lake Powell, all those guys out there out west, I mean, it is unbelievable how much. And listen, it doesn't snow. There's no snow melt. There's no runoff. I lived in Colorado. We used to go through the droughts. If you didn't have a good winter, you were going to have fire. You were going to be in Denver. It was going to be hot and dry, and you weren't going to be watering your lawn. So um, I told my wife we're building up on the lake. I said, look, I'm putting fake grass in my backyard, and if the HOA will let me put fake grass in the front, I'm going to put, because I'm done cutting grass and I'm done watering it. To me, it's a waste. My grass will be green all year. Here in the winter, it goes dormant, it goes brown. So I'll have to fight with the HOA, but that's my plan. I want to put fake grass in there. Maybe I have live plants, but I'm done cutting grass. I don't want to water anymore, and uh, let alone it's expensive. And but you're so right there about all those different variables probably came into play on that. But we'll find out. Eventually, they'll figure it out, and we'll all know. And um, this company, did they have this technology when you came in, or were you?
No. At Wint, you mean? Right.
I
Sorry,
went.
I misunderstood. So Wint, when I came in, had part of the technology. I helped build it and uh, turn it into what it is now. And maybe it's worthwhile explaining what the thing does if you want.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Um,
Go ahead.
yeah. So, essentially what we do is we deploy sensors on pipes, whether they go into a construction site or in the operational phase of the building. We serve both types of situations. We can do retrofits or we can come in during construction. And these sensors sit there and they measure the flow of water through the pipe. And there's a way to analyze this flow and figure out what's going on. Is this legitimate? Is this not legitimate? Is this a pipe that just broke? Is it a tap leaking? And when we identify something bad, we can alert. So you'll get an alert right on your cell phone,
Hmm.
or we can shut off the valve automatically. So if it's a Saturday night and nobody's at the site there for the next 24, 48 hours, whatever, um, and something breaks, and we all know they break. These things break on construction sites. We'll just shut the water off, and we'll call you up automatically. Of course, the system will send you an automated message, and it'll tell you I just shut off, your whatever mains number 3, and that's it. And if you want to open it up because actually somebody's doing something important and I forgot to tell you about it and I didn't set up the system for this, you get a mobile app, bang, you open the valve and that's it. Or if you want it to not automatically shut off because you've got your reasons, then tell it to just alert and it'll alert and you can open up your mobile app and just shut the water off. And we have saved endless amounts of buildings through this in construction sites.
How
We
many?
have oh, go ahead.
No,
Yep.
no, go ahead.
Now, I just wanted to say we have construction companies who have suffered so badly from water leaks and the damages. They find it hard to get insurance, and this has become a big deal for insurance companies. And so some of them are actually starting to require for certain projects that are high risk, starting to require this.
It obviously, when you're doing new construction, it's much easier to put the sensors in before they're behind drywall or what have you than it is doing a retrofit. But in your estimation, how many buildings do you think, commercial buildings actually have water detection gigs going on today? I mean, is it a minute percentage, or is it growing every year, or what are your thoughts there?
It's both of what you said. So it's a minute percentage and it's growing very rapidly. I see this is a very strong trend. Now, how many buildings are there in the world? Oh my God, right? It's
Oh yeah,
endless.
I mean, yeah.
And construction sites. So very few are doing this to date, and the numbers are very fast growing. It's coming from insurance, from sustainability, and from construction companies and executives have just and project managers have just had it with this water damage. And there are, technology, IoT technology, AI technology are now enabling things that were not possible, only a few years ago. So it's coming in fast.
What's a typical installation? Is it major installation, or is it just coming in and putting the sensor in, and is it wireless, or is there connectivity involved?
So you install a flow meter, standard off-the-shelf water flow meter, can be, even a residential flow meter, just standard off-the-shelf, plus a valve. If you want the automated shut-off, obviously you need a valve. You install those on the pipe. It's plumber 101, no big deal. You install it. Initially, when we come in, we do a mapping of your facility, and we say, all right, these are the places where we recommend installing. Usually, we'll have a conversation with your MEP team, and we'll come to an understanding where we think it's most cost effective for you to install and provide good protection. And once we do that, there's pretty much nothing else to be done. The systems communicate off the cellular network. So we're not asking you to pull in, cabling or network at early stages of the project. And it just connects to the network, and there you go. We do our automated learning. The system sits there initially learning. It uses AI, machine learning, signal processing, various slew of technologies to understand what's going on in the water flow. And then it knows what's normal for that location, and it starts to do its thing.
With talking about the insurance company, do you think coming down the road that they would mandate that, hey, if you're going to put this in, you need to put this in? Is that the wave of the future, that you think that this is going to happen?
I am totally certain. I know of certain insurance companies that are enforcing this on whether it's GCs who had a history, or projects that are susceptible because they're in a certain location or expensive, or various insurance reasons that make this high risk. They are already mandating. Other countries, the UK, for example, you will probably not be able to get insurance for your project in 2 years without water mitigation.
Does your product, is it more of the architect specifying is, or is it the general contractor, or is it a combination of, depending on the project, who's saying, hey man, I saw this podcast and this guy was talking about water, go check this thing out, we're building this thing, we don't want to have any of those disasters? I mean, is that the way it works? Or
so for construction companies, you'll get your planners, requiring it for the construction phase or for the operational phase. MEP teams, who of course are downstream of the disaster if it happens, they bring this in, and they say, we don't want this risk anymore, so they bring it in. And oftentimes, even the owner or the developer, who want their project on time, we know what this does, right? This can delay months and months in delivery. So the developer or the owner may require it in their specs. And sometimes they buy it because they want it to continue on for the operational phase.
Do the people
various ways that we see it gets in. Yep, sorry.
No, you're okay. Do the people that install it, and let's say they're a multi-site, building operator, once they install it and they see the ROI or the advantages of having the protection, do they become multi-site customers? I mean, they see the ROI, they see the advantage of it, and they say, hey man, every other building coming forward, man, we got to have this in there. Is that the basic gig? That's the growth of your company, as well as new customers, word of mouth?
That's absolutely right. I've got two very big GCs, one top 5 in Europe and one top 3 in Israel, multi-billion-dollar GCs. They are mandated by CEO definition to have us on every project. They will not have water damage. They don't want to see it anymore. So absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about, how did you bit, obviously, when right before the pandemic hit, the world was humming right along. And then the COVID hit in March and everything got shut down. And so tell us kind of, listen, I'm in the United States, you're in Israel. So tell us kind of how that whole thing went about, and, what happened to business, and how you guys are kind of coming out of it. How did that all go? Because I know how it went on here, depending on which state you were in. If you were a state and you were, an essential company, grocery store, hospital, or whatever, you were still building, but in some states, unless you were on a big federal highway project where you had lots of space, But if you were in a state that had all these regulations and you were doing a plumbing project per se, where you got to be close, you couldn't get it done. So I'm curious how it went in Israel and kind of in that whole area, because it's a very arid area. Water's a precious commodity, I'm sure. And Israel's plush, you know, beautiful state. It's in the desert and you got all green going on. So obviously you understand the, water conservation, is strategic. So, but I'm curious on how it all went down, because, we don't see that stuff in the news here.
Yeah. So it's interesting, actually, we're a very international company, although our engineering is here. Actually, our headquarters are in the US, in Raleigh, actually.
Oh, just
Yeah, not too far away from you.
hop, skip, and
So,
jump.
so when COVID hit, we didn't know what was coming, like everybody else, right? You just saw this unclear big black cloud hitting. And we looked around and we said, all right, everybody's going into their homes, office buildings, restaurants, everything is going to be shut down. And, we serve both the operational buildings and the construction sites. And our conclusion was, all right, operational buildings, who knows? It's going to get painful for owners. We can't rely on that market anymore. And so we decided for those first 3 to 6 first months of COVID, until things started to clear up, to really focus on construction, because construction was basically going. Maybe a little slowed down, but generally construction was, essential business, and it was not being stopped. So we focused on construction, and I mean, it went really well. We're working with some. I probably shouldn't be saying names because they got no
No
approval.
names.
But some of the country's largest GCs are working with us now, and that's all a result of our decision during COVID to focus specifically on construction. So some of the biggest names are now working with us in very big projects, billion-dollar projects. So it actually, COVID had a very interesting impact on us, and specifically for this program.
With yourself, with your office there, I mean, everybody worked out of your home. Did your productivity and efficiency, even though that they weren't in the office atmosphere and everybody was working out of their home and doing Zoom or email and so forth, do you think you were more productive, less productive?
So it was the strangest thing, and I think a lot of people felt it. When COVID hit, that's all we did. We just worked, right? What do? You can't see friends, you can't go out, there's nothing to do, you focus on work. And we all started working like crazy. I think, the company's productivity during COVID was probably double than what it was, or probably double what it will be. People just worked like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was unclear. We didn't know this would happen, but that's how it turned out.
Yeah. So what's Israel like today? I mean,
So we are it. So if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, I'd say that's it. COVID's done. We've got movies and theaters and restaurants, and nobody wears masks, and it's all good. A couple of weeks ago, this new what do they call it? The Delta Plus
yeah, the
variant.
Delta strain or something.
Right. It started floating around, and it's not that the country has stopped in any way, but there's just a little bit more level of caution. We're seeing some more infections. It's not serious, but and they're still, I think, trying to figure out the numbers. We're not apparently, even those who did get the vaccine, apparently are not 100% immune to this specific strain. They're talking anywhere between 90% all the way down to 65%. I saw in the papers today. So everybody's a little more cautious, putting on masks as they go into office buildings. But apart from that, traffic jams, everything's happening. We're eating in restaurants. It's all good.
Well, listen, I just, through this whole thing, I mean, I still have my COVID beard going here, I mean, until it's completely whatever who knows. But listen, I worked out of my house, so I kind of was used to it, but I know some people, they need to be in an office environment. So that was the biggest thing I would talk to, over the last year of people that I have on the podcast, that they would tell me, the biggest thing was like, are we going to keep our company culture? Are people going to be able to work out of their house and learn? And the biggest thing was that they found out that, wow, technology is a great thing. Meetings don't take an hour and a half; they take 20 minutes. My team is much more productive. and they're not burning gas. They're not sitting in rush hour. Um, and 5 years from now, the whole real estate market might look completely different because, are they going to come back? Are they going to stay at the house? Are they going to be a hybrid, maybe a couple days a week? I mean, all of these different things. And even with construction projects, just like, having your sensor on the pipes, what other kind of safety measures are going to be put into place to protect whether they're their own employees that are on the site or the subs that are going in. You don't know how many conversations when COVID hit first is like, oh my God, who's liable? Am I going to get sued? Where do we have to put that in the contract? I mean, these were all the things that even myself as a show producer, I was fighting with the hotel because I have to book my hotel a year in advance for my face-to-face event. And I was like, I need to put that in I talked to my attorney and he said, you need to get that force majeure in there. And, it wasn't written right because the hotel was just looking out for themselves and not me. And, but these are the conversation I was having with my clients. I'm like, everybody was going through the same thing, how are we going to, be liable and still be productive? And the insurance companies, they were looking at it as well. They didn't want to do all these. So it was amazing. And a lot of people were innovative and some people had the greatest, just like you said, you had an unbelievable year. So I went from print to face to digital. I just had 2.5 million people hit my website. I never had that before, but I didn't know that I had all that content. I mean, it was amazing, that I learned so much about my business during COVID, and I'm sure a lot of other companies, didn't matter where you were, because you had to look at everything. How are you going to do things? How are you going to improve things? Where are you going to get new customers? How am I going to make my bottom line? And believe me, I had a lot of sleepless nights, in March, April, and and then you make a decision and you let the chips fall where they may, and so it was I feel that I learned so much over that time period that it was beneficial. And just like here I am, I'm talking to a guy in Israel, all right, and pre-COVID I would have had probably fly 18 hours, whatever it is, depending on where you leave from the States. And I had a project manager firm out of Chicago. We had him on the podcast. He goes, I was in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, South Africa, the Caribbean, Canada. I did a couple walkthroughs, and that was all in one day. And pre-COVID, that would have taken me 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This, and this is just a simple little technology thing, and so but it's amazing. And just your product alone. Here, you don't think about water. It's amazing. That was a really good phrase that you had. It's the silent, it's the silent one. And water is definitely, I remember in my first house, the pipe broke on the water sprinkler pipe on the outside, and we had gone away for the weekend, for 3 or 4 days, and the water was just running. And I came back and I'm like, oh my God, what is that puddle? And I don't know how many gallons of water or whatever. But anyway, got the plumber to come out, fix the pipe, big old hole in my, in the front of my house. They put the, anyway, then I got the bill and I was like, sticker shock, and I'm talking, mine was like, so I can imagine if you're in a huge high rise and a pipe bursts and it just goes gravity going down, science in action. So it's an amazing thing that I would probably definitely, if I was a builder or if I was an end user, you always want to think, I'm a Dale Carnegie guy. So you always think about what's the worst that can happen, fire damage, theft,
water leaks.
Yeah, leaks, but if you're not thinking about water, you should think about it. So, well, this has been awesome. I mean, I just learned a lot, just in this little conversation. So if you wanted to leave one thought or comment with our listeners out there, positive, what would it be as we go into the second half of 2021?
Yeah, take water seriously. It can really damage your facility, your project, your building. I mean, it comes when you don't expect it. I would say take it seriously. Whether you want to use us to solve it or use somebody else, that doesn't matter. But put together a water mitigation plan for your project, because it really gets unpleasant if that's not in place. That would be my 2 cents.
Good advice. I'm just finishing my basement. And I'm like thinking, we put the drywall up. I'm like, I'm going to sell my home. But I was thinking, when he was doing that, I was like, that water heater goes, what do you do about that? Because they were draining the lines, and, when they were hooking up and I was like, look, they had some water on the floor. And I was just looking, and I was like, man, get that water can just do, you get it on wood, it warps. I mean, it's just, it's a necessity thing. We're alive because of it, but it's one of those things. So listen, if you're thinking about water mitigation and how you go about it, how would someone reach out to you to, with help? How would they reach?
Yeah, just go to our website, www.wint.ai. There's forms there. You can contact us. By the way, there's a really cool CNN spot about us, so try that too. CNN and Wint, you'll see that. And hey, easy to contact us, just on our website.
So if you're out there and you're thinking water mitigation, you don't want leaks, you don't have any sensors currently, you don't have to worry. If you're building a new building, it's much easier to put it in, just like remodeling. Once the drywall's up and the wall's up, put it in before. It's probably more cost effective. But if you're renovating a building and you don't have that protection, here's an opportunity. You're going to put, you're going to put the fire, you're going to put the alarm in for security. Here's just another added benefit to make you that much more safe. So if you're looking for any of those things, give Yaron a call in Israel, and he'll see if he can help you get that one less headache that you got, coming down the pike. And that doesn't matter. Contractor, architect, spec it, building owner, have a talk. I think it's a really good idea. In fact, when I build my house on Lake Lanier, I might even look at it to put in my house, because even though I'm living up by the water, I got plenty of pipes there. And anyway, who knows? Maybe I'll become a customer too. You never know.
You never know.
So if anyone reaches me, you can reach me at davidc@ccr-mag.com. If you're not a subscriber, you can go to ccr-mag.com, and you can, up on the toolbar, there's a little button there called subscribe. We send out 125,000 emails with our new issue link. I've got Citizens M hotels coming up on my next issue, which will be posting hopefully by the end of this week or early next week. And if you got a really cool story, or you got some new products or vendor announcements, I post up every day. So send it to me. It's like playing the lottery. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. You don't send me something, I can't find a place for it. Whether it's in the magazine or social media, up on the web, newsletter, send me something. I look at everything. So and we post all sorts of stuff on our site. So because we know everybody's got pets, we know everybody's got homes, and you'll find all sorts of stuff. I got 15,000 pages of content up there, and it grows every month. Wow. So you got something cool, send it to us, and we'll look at it. So with that said, I want to wish everybody, hey, going into the second half of the year, 2021, have a great summer. Stay cool, drink lots of water, stay hydrated. I know it's summer in Atlanta, 95 degrees, humidity. Go outside and you're already wet. So if you're out west in 116, I have this argument all the time. I'd rather be in 116 with dry heat, or should I be in 92 or 93 with 98% of humidity? I'm taking the dry heat, but I don't know. So, but with that said, stay cool. And as always, regardless of COVID, hey, wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Be in surroundings and you'll be okay. All right. So with that said, Yaron, say goodbye from just outside of Tel Aviv, Israel.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening in, and have a great fourth. Actually, fourth is behind us. So have a great after the fourth week.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And everybody out there, have a great rest of the week. Have a great summer. And we will see you on our next episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. And I'm signing off, David Corson, down here in Swanee, Georgia, just below the Beaufort Dam. And we will see you next time. And Yaron, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure meeting
Thanks
you.
a lot
Hopefully
for
I'll get to
having
meet
me.
you in person someday. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Hop over to Israel, or
All
I'll
right,
hop over
man.
to your place.
Cheers. All right.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
See you, man.